top stories, High Command concerned by videos involving police officers. SKN issues travel advisory for travelers from Brazil, United Kingdom, and South Africa. And former CFBC student receives the Joshua Obadiah Williams Award for exceptional academic performance. The details on these stories and more after the break.
Ease the squeeze with Digicel. Win $1,000 in groceries monthly. Get your chance when you activate any Digicel Prime bundle, pay your bill in full, sign up for a new postpaid or home entertainment package, or simply just join the Digicel family. It's that simple. Be one of 4 lucky winners selected every month from January to March to participate in our Ease the Squeeze shopping sweepstakes. Digicel gives you more so you can ease the squeeze. Digicel, better together.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. With LLB. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime, and bitters. Live, love, be.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Carla Barrage. The High Command of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force has issued a statement regarding videos that have been circulating on social media involving police officers. In a statement, Assistant Commissioner of Police Adolph Adams said an investigation has been launched into the matter.
The High Command of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force has viewed with deep concern videos that show parts of an incident that occurred in Nevis and involve several of our police officers. The High Command would like to inform the general public that an investigation has been launched into the matter.
He said the safety and security of members of the public remains the #1 concern of every officer.
We have in place well-established protocols and procedures for police officers to follow when responding to reports and apprehending or arresting suspects. Our organizations remain committed in the fight against criminality and strongly believe in respecting human rights and the dignity of others.
Assistant Commissioner of Police Adolph Adams. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis, through the National COVID-19 Task Force, has issued a travel advisory for travelers from Brazil, the United Kingdom, and South Africa. In a press release issued on Monday, the task force stated that the implemented travel advisory was in response to the emergence of 3 new variants of the COVID-19 virus. These variants have originated in Brazil, South Africa, and the United Kingdom. The UK variant of the virus has already appeared in at least 3 CARICOM territories. This is cause for concern for the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, particularly as the UK mutation of the original virus is far more transmissible and carries a higher likelihood of death from the symptoms of COVID-19. The release continued by stating that persons intending to travel from these aforementioned destinations are advised not to travel to St. Kitts and Nevis at this time. The federal government advises all citizens and legal residents returning from any of the aforementioned countries that they will not be denied re-entry into the country, but must also process their travel requirements through the online platform www.knatravelform.kn. The travel advisories for the United Kingdom, Brazil, and South Africa will remain in effect for 30 days in the first instance, which started from Sunday, February 7th, 2021. On Tuesday, recent graduate of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, Richard Lee Gums, received the 25th Joshua Obadiah Williams Award for the best results for the Teacher Education Associate degree at a small ceremony in the Poinciana Conference Room at the CFBC. Patriarch of the Obadiah Williams family, Mr. Victor Williams, presented the award of $3,000 to Mr. Gums. He explained that the award allows him and his family to stay committed to his father's desire to invest in education as well as keeping his legacy alive.
Not being the eldest and not being the first son, I adopted the role of patriarch in the family. And we have honored his commitment by having the scholarship at the CFBC, which started out in 1995 as a $500 scholarship, moved to $1,000, moved to $1,500, moved to $2,000, moved to $2,500. And we were hoping before COVID-19 that for the 25th we'll be able to double it, but Lord, man, COVID hit us hard. However, we chose to add something to it still.
Mr. Gums expressed thanks to the Obadiah Williams family for its continued contribution to teachers. He explained that the gesture of the family reminds him of the important role teachers play.
I am eternally grateful to the Williams family for passionately committing to keeping alive in the minds of our citizens the amazingly gifted Joshua Obadiah Williams, a stalwart in the field of education who dedicated his life to the educational advancement of everyone who came into his sphere of influence. Teachers do not often receive the recognition for their indelible contributions, but the Williams family continues to remind us just how valuable we are.
Mr. Gums further expressed a desire to continue to strive for excellence as he develops his skills as an educator. And in other national news, the Ministry of Agriculture has embarked on an initiative to produce a local multipurpose organic compost to assist farmers, backyard gardeners, as well as landscapers to boost crop and flower production by keeping them green and healthy. Speaking to the St. Kitts Nevis Information Service on Friday, Augustine Nwosu, project manager of the Vegetable Fruit Upland Crop Quality and Safety Improvement Project at Needmont in St. Kitts, said that creating the compost was important and timely as the ministry aims to assist persons involved with agricultural related activities. He said the intention is to make sure the farmers, backyard gardeners, and landscapers in St. Kitts have access to natural organic fertilizer that is eco-friendly and can help the crops, fruits, and vegetables grow optimally. The project manager said that the product, which is free from chemicals or additives, consists of local resources such as grass clippings, leaves, green items, and organic urea, as well as local cow manure sourced from Bayford's Livestock Center for Excellence. Mr. Nwosu encouraged the general public to support the local initiative. Persons willing to do so can visit the office at Needsmust or email vfucqsip@gmail.com or call 465-2372. After the break, primary school teachers participate in Professional Development Day session and health officials to appear on Working for You. Stay with us.
My advice to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, we need to continue wearing our masks. Wear your mask, wear your mask.
Wear your mask.
Adapt and follow the protocol. We need to do the protocols by washing our hands. Change your clothes when you go out and come back.
Wear your mask and wash your hands.
But you have to protect yourself when you go out and protect other people.
Distance yourself. It's going to protect you and everyone else around you.
And we need to learn to listen. Sometimes we as Kittitians, we do not really listen. Social distance is hard, but if you have to do it, please, please do it.
This is the country of our birth, country that we love. Let us take care of it.
Because if you protect yourself and your family, you could damage them and other people as well. So we just need to protect ourselves.
Want to get away? Now you can.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Here is how I pay my Flow bills using the MyFlow app in just 3 easy steps. First, I downloaded the free app from the App Store. Then, I opened the app and logged in with my Flow ID. I activated my Flow ID earlier for free at flowid.co. I clicked on the account number and watched the magic begin. All my bills and the info right there at my fingertips. Just confirm the payment amount, then card details, and that's it. No trips to town, no long lines, and no hassle. Flow is keeping me connected.
Welcome back. Teachers from the Newton Ground and Sandy Point primary schools participated in a joint staff professional development session on Monday, February 8th. The session, conducted under the theme Building Resilience in Transitioning Times by Changing Our Mindset, was held at the Solid Waste Management Conference Room. Principal of the Newton Ground Primary School, Mrs. Michelle Rochester Woodley, explained that the theme was chosen because of the global challenges and demands placed on teachers. She said teachers can only succeed in this changing environment if they change their mindsets.
As we all know that we are in difficult times, the global pandemic has really hit us, and we are now trying to get our teachers more equipped. Of course, having them get a mindset, a change mindset. Everything starts with our minds and then our attitude.
The one-day session also exposed teachers to the benefits of a balanced assessment, as highlighted by Mrs. Sacha Warner, leader, principal of the Sandy Point Primary School.
This year we saw it fit to have our staff members indulge in what we call balanced assessment, more so formative and summative. And we think this will help them in the classroom in terms of assessing their students.
The Ministry of Education has asked all schools to conduct their professional development sessions to provide their teachers with the necessary guidance in using the varied assessment tools, resulting in fairer outcomes for a larger number of students. Health officials within the Ministry of Health will be featured on Wednesday's edition of Working for You on ZIZ Radio. The special guest will be National HIV/AIDS Program Coordinator Dr. Matthias Offray and Health Educator Counselor Mrs. Lucine Pemberton Vaughn. Working for You is carried live every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. on ZIZ Radio and other participating radio stations. The program is also streamed live on the SKNIS Facebook page. A religious leader here in St. Kitts has written a daily devotional to be launched later this week. Reverend Telford Matthew is a Methodist minister in the St. Kitts Circuit. He spoke with ZIZ News about his new book entitled God in the Midst of Calamity and Trouble. He said the book was written during the lockdown period last year and noted that it offers advice to persons facing difficulties in these times.
The whole idea of the book is to help us to understand that even in the midst of trouble, difficulty, as with the coronavirus crisis, that God is with us and He's able to help us weather the storms of life. So the book helps us to understand, well, this is God's world, the COVID-19, along with other disasters that may come our way, are real situations. So how do you deal with real life situations? God provides the answer to such situations. So this is what the book is all about, to help us to realize that God is in the midst.
In responding to the question of who the book caters to, Reverend Matthews said the book can be used by persons of all ages in all walks of life.
The book caters for all people and in all situations. As a matter of fact, is worldwide, because the entire world has been affected by this coronavirus crisis. So it is really the audience is the entire world, but of course we here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and in the region have to deal with our own challenges.
Reverend Telford Matthew has authored several books, including a compilation of published devotionals entitled The Bread of Life, and a co-authored Lenten book with his wife, Mrs. Petra Matthew. The daily devotional, God in the Midst of Calamity and Trouble, will be launched on Friday, February 9th at the Old Methodist Boys School on Seaton Street in Bastyr at 4:30 p.m. And finally, on the local scene, young entrepreneurs and emerging business leaders in St. Kitts and Nevis, Latin America, the Caribbean, and Canada are being invited to apply to participate in the fully funded 6 weeks exchange program. The Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative, YLAI, Fellowship Program is looking to recruit a diverse group of young English-speaking entrepreneurs to participate in the program. The YLAI program is fully funded by the U.S. Department of State and is an opportunity for participants to improve their leadership and entrepreneurial skills through hands-on experience, online casework, for face-to-face training, and access to a network of business leaders throughout the Western Hemisphere. YLAI builds linkages between young leaders across the hemisphere and addresses the opportunity gap by youth by empowering businesses and social entrepreneurship with the tools to lead to transform their societies and contribute more fully to economic development and prosperity, security, human rights, and good governance in the hemisphere. The YLAI Fellowship will take place October 11th to November 19th, 2021. The Fellowship has informed that if safe travel is not possible at the time of the YLAI Fellowship, this program will be conducted virtually. Coming up in regional news, clergyman in Jamaica slams abortion proposals. The details when we come back.
There's nothing good about jail. I don't want to be here.
My father told me that as far as he was concerned, I could stay in the home forever.
Our children deserve a chance for change. Children make mistakes, and child justice reform can help everyone to address these mistakes appropriately. Instead of sending a child to adult prison, let us give them alternative sentencing. We must divert our children from the court system through a holistic and systematic approach to addressing their offense and their road to rehabilitation. Rehabilitation helps child offenders to grow, change, learn from mistakes, accept responsibility, and make better choices. Reintegration of child offenders into the community after rehabilitation benefits the child, the family, and the community with a more productive citizen. Join the movement to give our children a chance for change. This message is brought to you by the USAID OECS Juvenile Justice Reform Project 2, funded by the United States Agency for International Development. For more information, log on to oecs.org/JJRP.
And we're moving now to news on the regional scene. Atrocious, disgraceful, and alarming. That's how one religious group is describing the proposals coming out of a recent study on abortion in Jamaica, conducted by the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI. More in this report.
The controversial topic of abortion has been led by medical deliberations, but largely debated as a human rights issue and from a religious and moral perspective. 3 recommendations were highlighted in a recent study, one of which is to give minors access to reproductive health services, including abortion, without parental involvement, a proposal that has been met with backlash. Bishop Dr. Alvin Bailey says such a move must be rejected by all well-thinking Jamaicans.
Is a means of promoting the kind of sexual exploitation and promiscuity that is taking place in our country. We are giving license to men to use our young women and then take them to do an abortion, using abortion as a means of contraceptive. It is outrageous.
Bishop Bailey denounces the recommendation to have abortion services publicly funded.
Instead of building up our social institutions, contribution to education and to fighting crime, we are now to use these large sums of money to promote abortion by making abortion afforded by the states or to be paid for by the states. It's another atrocity.
Based on the nature of the topic, a secret conscience vote by Parliament was proposed to decriminalize the termination of a pregnancy.
Any minister who would want to think of promoting and agreeing with abortion to our young children is indeed immoral and is a matter of just covering it up. And I think that every well-thinking politician should not. Let the government indeed, if it wants to get the mind of the Jamaican people, is to do a referendum. Do a referendum that we can in fact know our people think.
Since the renewed conversations on abortion, there has been no formal acknowledgement of the matter in the House of Parliament. Roby Ann Williams for CVM Live.
The Guyana Public Service Union says that its recent proposal for the 2021 national budget is not unreasonable, as it calls on the PPPC government to honor its promise to public servants of a 50% salary increase. More from Tamika Rodney of HGP News.
The Guyana Public Service Union on February 3rd submitted to Senior Minister of Finance Dr. Ashney Singh its proposal for inclusion in the 2021 national budget. The union contends that public servants are paid way below the living wage and called on the Ministry of Finance to urgently set up a committee comprising the Department of Public Service and itself to review what constitutes a living wage. Additionally, the GPSU pointed out great disparity in the salary scales between GS1, GS2, and GS3 and made an appeal for the Finance Ministry to allocate sufficient funds in the budget to substantiate these salary grades. The bunching was also an area of concern in the union's proposal. It has since requested adequate provision of funds be made available to deal with the in-scale debunching of public workers. First, the Vice President of the union, Don Gardiner, in an exclusive interview with Nightly News on Monday, noted that the union's demands are not unrealistic. Even though the union has had a history of its proposal being ignored by the government, she remains optimistic that this one will be honored.
The Guyana Public Service Union will expect that good sense will prevail.
Further, the union called for allocations for substantial increases in allowance to provide realistic advances to public officers in areas such as travel and allowance, which was last increased in 1995, meal allowance last increased in 2019, and uniform allowance last increased in 2001, among others. Public servants were promised a 50% increase by the PPP in its manifesto during the 2020 elections campaign. In addition, the union resubmitted the following proposals for consideration: the increase of the income tax threshold to $120,000 per month, the income tax rate to be further reduced to 20% on taxable income, a non-taxable allowance for $40,000 per month for dependents. Tamika Rodney reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Coming up, WHO team dismisses theory that COVID-19 leaked from a Wuhan lab. We'll tell you more when we come back.
Imagine having the luxury of putting all your trust in one insurance company and being able to enjoy life to the fullest without having to worry. Well, don't imagine. National Caribbean Insurance is here to take care of all your insurance needs. Insure your life, vehicle, boat, home, belongings, and your future. At NCI, we make it our business to ensure that you enjoy every stage in life. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Welcome back. A team of experts investigating the origins of COVID-19 in China have dismissed the theory that it was leaked from a lab. World Health Organization researchers in Wuhan say the virus likely jumped from animals to humans, but they have yet to identify the animal host that triggered the outbreak. Al Jazeera's Sarah Clark has the latest.
It's an investigation that's been plagued by delays and concerns over access. But after a month-long mission to Wuhan, considered by many to be the place where COVID-19 originated, the World Health Organization says it is not the only city of interest.
We can also agree that we have found evidence of wider circulation of the virus in December. It was not just only a cluster outbreak in the Wuhan market, but the virus was also circulated outside of the markets.
The team visited key sites in Wuhan where the infection was detected in December 2019. Bats and pangolin have long been suspected as the origin of coronavirus, but other species, including cats and minks, will now be investigated.
But since Wuhan is not a city or an environment close to these bat environments, a direct jump from bats to the city of Wuhan is not very likely, and therefore we have tried to find what other animal species were introduced and moving in and out of the city that could have potentially introduced or contribute to introduce the virus, in particular in the Wuhan market.
The visit by the WHO-led team was subject to intense scrutiny and political pressure, both within China and internationally. Claims that the state-run virus laboratory in Wuhan was the origin of the outbreak formed part of the mission. But the team says a leak from this lab is extremely unlikely, and that imported frozen animal products and those from within China itself may be a potential host. The China representative, however, says there's no evidence of earlier cases of the disease in 2019.
There's no indication of the SARS-CoV-2 in the population before December 2019, so there's not enough evidence to determine whether there was a spread in Wuhan before December 2019.
The former president of the United States, Donald Trump, accused China of failing to reveal the extent of the outbreak and share scientific data. The Chinese government has always rejected that claim.
China will, as always, uphold an open, transparent and responsible attitude, continue to cooperate with the WHO.
1 year on, China still has in place strict quarantine controls and continues to enforce community lockdowns. But it could be years more before the source of the pandemic, which has now killed more than 2 million people worldwide, is identified. Sarah Clark, Al Jazeera.
In India, rescue workers are trying to find 35 men trapped in a flooded tunnel after part of a Himalayan glacier broke off on Sunday, leading to a devastating flash flood in a northern state. Al Jazeera's Elizabeth Poran reports from the scene of the rescue.
Rescue workers clear a tunnel near the Tapawan Dam. They've been working since Sunday to find dozens of people who'd been building the facility when a torrent of water and debris entered. Sisters Sati Negi and Deepa Chauhan have also been coming here since the disaster. Their brother had been working as a supervisor on the construction of the tunnel.
My brother has been trapped inside for the past 3 days, so we've been sitting here for the past 3 days, waiting for him. We don't have any hope. We don't know what's going on, but we are praying to God.
Rescue teams involving the police, army, navy and disaster response say they're trying to reach an area 180 meters inside the tunnel where there could be pockets of air.
The excavation has proceeded till 110 meters approximately, but the sludge overflow is too much. So the more you are digging and excavating, the more sludge we can see occupying the same place. So we are just hopeful that we'll hit some air pocket where we are hoping that some survivors will be trapped.
Helicopters equipped with thermal imaging cameras are being used to trace missing people.
The tunnel is near the Tapawan Dam, part of which was swept away in the flood. And you can see that the river is still brown from the torrent of mud which flowed downstream. A little further from here, the smaller Rishiganga Dam and power plant near the village of Raini have been completely washed away.
Puran Singh from Raini says his sister-in-law Lakshmi Devi has been missing since the flood. He came to the tunnel after hearing local officials were here. He wants answers and help from the government.
My sister-in-law had gone to get fodder for the cattle when she was swept away in the flood. I have come here to lodge a report and ask for compensation from the government. She has 2 children at home and her husband is dead. I just want some help from the government.
The fate of 125 people working on the Rishiganga power plant is also unknown. Environmentalists say the disaster is just the latest reminder that dams and power plants shouldn't be constructed in ecologically fragile areas like the Himalayas, especially when glaciers are melting because of climate change. For now, though, the focus is on finding survivors in challenging conditions. Elizabeth Puranam, Al Jazeera, Tapawan, Uttarakhand.
Up next in sports, West Indies defeat Bangladesh, and TT futsal players train ahead of World Cup qualifiers. Stay with us.
Imagine having the luxury of putting all your trust in one insurance company and being able to enjoy life to the fullest without having to worry. Well, don't imagine. National Caribbean Insurance is here to take care of all your insurance needs. Insure your life, vehicle, boat, home, belongings, and your future. At NCI, we make it our business to ensure that you enjoy every stage in life. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Look up in the air like this. The coronavirus is bad. So there is one thing we can do. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands.
Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. To keep away the flu, there is one thing we must do. Wash our hands, wash our hands, wash our hands.
First up in sports, Kyle Myers made an unbeaten 210 on debut to help West Indies snatch a 3-wicket victory over Bangladesh in the first test. Joel Rain of ABS News reports.
Bangladesh declared on 223 for 8 in their second innings, setting West Indies a daunting victory target of 395 in Chattogram. But the tourists were indebted to an inspired display from Myers as they completed the 5th highest successful run chase in Test history. They were floundering at 59 for 3 before reaching 110 for 3 at stumps on day 4, with victory seeming unlikely. But Myers shared a 4th wicket stand of 216 with fellow debutant Nkrumah Bonner as Bangladesh failed to take a wicket in the first 2 sessions of the final day. Bonner was eventually dismissed for 86 before Myers sealed the victory with just 15 balls remaining. Myers' 310-ball innings featured 24s and 7 sixes as he became only the 6th player to score a double 100 in the 4th innings of a test. The 28-year-old made just 32 domestic appearances prior to his test debut and averaged a modest 29. The Windies' win marked the highest successful 4th innings chase since 2008 and the highest made in Asia. The final match of the 2-test series begins on Wednesday, Caribbean time. Joel Rain, ABS Sports.
Trinidad and Tobago's futsal players have returned to the training pitch as they look ahead to World Cup qualifiers of their own in March in Guatemala. Ken Fuentes of TTT Sports reports.
The team is working under assistant coach Paul Deckel, while head coach Constantine Constant undergoes mandatory COVID quarantine protocols. Deckel says he was happy to have the guys back on the pitch after the program was interrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic last year.
You know, we're very excited about this. We started this project up last year, and obviously COVID came and put a stop to it. To imagine where we've reached now and to be back out we're very excited, especially for the players to give them an opportunity to be back out playing and trying to make a national team, as well as getting them to hopefully to Guatemala to try to qualify for the World Cup in Lithuania.
With no form of competitive football being played locally, he says players with experience in other formats of the game are happy to be involved in some form of competitive footballing activity.
We're getting a lot of interest from a wide pool of players again. Obviously, we had our training pool from last year, and because of the lack of activity right now in football in Trinidad, you know, we're getting even a wider group of players that are interested in being part of it.
The team will soon have the services of head coach Constantine Constant, and Deckel believes his experience will help take the team to the level they need to attain to have a chance to qualify for the World Cup. Kent Fuentes, TTT Sports.
And that's it for sports. When we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines. And we're wrapping up with a recap of the top stories. High Command concerned about videos involving police officers. SKN issued travel advisory for travelers from Brazil, United Kingdom, and South Africa. And former CFB student receives the Joshua Obadiah Williams Award for exceptional academic performance. And that's the end of the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Barrage. Bye.